Good morning. Man, thanks for spending your wonderful 9 o'clock morning with me. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Nathan Loznoski. I'm Concurrency's Chief Technology Officer, and today we're going to talk about how you operationalize Azure in 10 steps. Just a little bit of a show of hands. Who was in my session last afternoon at 4 o'clock? Awesome. Thank you for coming back. Welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. For those that were in the 4 o'clock session, you'll see a little bit of repeat because a guy can only come up with so many best practices. So there'll be some things that you've seen before. There's also going to be a whole lot of stuff you haven't seen before. So to hold it against me, I'll do my best to give you some new stuff too. I think you're going to have a lot of fun today. And my goal is that you can leave this session with 10 best practices in getting your environment ready to be operationalized that you can take back to your business. And you might be doing some of these. And if you are, that's fantastic. Maybe you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you get to that one and you're like, oh shoot, I don't have that one. And it's a good opportunity for you to bring that back to the business and have a conversation about it. This isn't also exhaustive, right? So there isn't going to be every single best practice that exists within an Azure environment, and just respect that there's going to be some other things out there that maybe I haven't noticed or mentioned, but I think you're going to find some things that are going to really help you out. So hopefully you get value out of this. That's my goal. If you leave here today having at least one good idea that you can take back to your business, and it's something that makes a difference for you, I'll feel really happy about that. So stick with me for 45 minutes, and we'll do some cool stuff. All right. So my goal is to make sure that you're prepared to execute on running an efficient, fantastic Azure environment that's operationalized, and it means that it might look a little different than the way that you operate today. And we'll start with the first one, and we'll go through 10. And each one of these I'll break down and give you some details on. So let's go into a little bit of a preface. When we say we're going to operationalize an Azure environment, what are we really even talking about? What constitutes an environment? What does that mean? And to a certain extent, I was even questioning using the word Azure environment here. Given this is a Microsoft conference, I used Azure. But this really could be a cloud environment if we're talking about a multi-cloud story, which a lot of you guys are in. The understanding that you may have a Google Cloud or Amazon Cloud and an Azure Cloud all combined together. I'll deal with some of those circumstances in this as well. So let's talk a little bit about what I mean by this. Up at the top here, the assumption is that the Azure environment is run by the corporation. It means that you have governance opportunity around what is being executed on. It exists within your corporate control. It also contains a diverse set of workloads. This is not an environment that is necessarily just server computing, right? This isn't just moving IaaS virtual machines. It may contain IaaS virtual machines, but it might also contain a variety of other things too. Serverless, PaaS, AI implementations. And what I'm finding is that every environment I run into is a little different. You've got some that are like, you know what, I'm not moving any IaaS into Azure, and it's going to be all serverless stuff. That's everything new. Or a lot of companies are like, I just don't want to be in the data center business, and I want to get everything out of my data center. It's going to be a diverse set of capabilities. It also means that you have a certain amount of stakeholder management involved here. The bigger the business, the more stakeholder management you end up having, and the less centralized the control is. The main idea here is that you should have corporate oversight in the Azure environment, and that you're delegating some level of control, or you're even granting some level of ownership to the stakeholders and application owners within the business. And that idea is one that gets broader and broader, and as IT moves out of direct ownership of these things. And the fourth is that your Azure environment is probably going to be representative of how cost aligns to the technology investments that make sense for the business. And if it's not, then you are probably using your technology investments improperly, right? Because our technology investments should align to how the business is intending to grow. So when we think about what are we operationalizing, we're operationalizing this. This is my sort of definition of what this looks like. You could also say, take Azure out, make it cloud, and it still follows the same rules, right? A multi-cloud story still is a diverse technology environment. It just has a couple extra steps we got to go through to operationalize it properly. You follow me? Is that cool? All right. So let's go into number one. Number one is to understand how types of organizational teams are different in the fact that they operate in the cloud. This is about how your organization changes as you move into cloud operations. An operationalization of the on-premise environment was typified by a variety of separate teams. So this is something I showed yesterday. On the left-hand side, you can see that we have a variety of different teams in a traditional IT organization. This is very, very common, especially in larger businesses where you have a high degree of siloing of IT teams. The separation between the Windows, Linux, storage, security team, management, virtualization, they're all these kind of separate siloed teams. And one of the things that was really difficult about them is it was very difficult to arrive at any kind of collaborative approach at how you operated together and how you built things together. As you move into the cloud, what I've seen is that the IT organization turns into more of a cloud enablement organization versus a cloud delivery organization. So rather than delivering capabilities and being a blocker, IT organizations tend to move into cloud enablement, and that then grants them a lot of consolidation of skills. It also grants them consolidation of skills in that when you're provisioning and building in Azure or in AWS or Google, you end up taking the storage, the networking, the VM provisioning, the encapsulation of all that, and that becomes much more of one story. And as it becomes much more of one story, the teams need to work more closely together to be agile. So what I'm seeing happen is whether it's a reorg or it's just a much more greater degree of inter-team collaboration, people are starting to have primaries and secondaries, but they tend to have less siloing. And that tendency toward less siloing is almost required because as you move out of the data center business, you don't have as much need for some of the on-prem kinds of things that you're doing. It's also built in the idea of an emphasis on code and repeatability, and that idea that the way that we execute is executed within a DevOps-centric manner, that release management in code is the way that even an IT person is going to build things. And that assumption is not the way that most IT people are really comfortable, except for maybe some of the network guys who are used to building configs that get released to their servers, to their routers and switches and things. Most IT people are still kind of used to clicky, right? You're used to logging into something, click, 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 configure, click, click, click. And it's starting to move away from that as a team. Let me give you a couple other examples of how this looks. So this is something Jeremy Winter used. I thought it was really good, where the skills that exist within an IT organization, and especially the overall organization, tend to consolidate. You have the business that's engaged in wanting to get stuff done. You have the developer groups, the app groups that are building things. You have yourselves, or maybe not all of you are IT ops, but you have folks that are in IT operations. That team is starting to group itself more together. And then you have security, which continues to exist as a separate team typically. It seems that security needs to exist as a check against the IT organization and the app organizations to make sure that best practices are being followed. What you can see commonalities in the adoption of new technologies are things like ORM, templating, functions, event grid scripting. These are all code-based technologies. It's building things that the configuration, the infrastructure, and so on is a piece of code that then is released in the environment in some capacity. And it behooves us, and it's really a responsibility of us to make sure that we're helping pull forward people who have been in traditional IT roles into this more modern way of delivering IT. And as someone said to me earlier this week, they said, you really can't push people into these new IT models. You have to let them kind of explore it and be open to that. And I've said, that's really cool for people who are really self-directed. But sometimes people need a little bit of a shove or a push or a little bit of a nudge to get going in the right direction. And as IT leaders, I think it really is our responsibility to help them to move forward into some new worlds. Also is a conversation about this tension. There's a creative tension in operations between speed and control. I've also heard it called creativity in control. And this idea that we want to move fast, but we also want to move fast in a repeatable, high-managed type of way. We want to have confidence in what we deliver. So let's say you're an app team and you're just throwing junk over the wall, right? If you're just throwing junk over the wall, that speed isn't really doing anything for you. You're just throwing junk over the wall faster. But But if you're putting in place these barriers that prevent you from being able to move quickly, then you're also not serving your users in an effective way either. So some of the technologies that I'll talk about are intended to serve both these camps and provide both. So self-service, production releases, rapidity, and then combine that with policies and compliance and cost management that are not broken by a wall but are enabled. So let me give you a little bit of a breakdown of what this looks like. So there's a technology that I want you to be aware of called Blueprints. And what Blueprints does is it's a framework for us to organize what our corporate hierarchy looks like. And it's a new technology. It's actually just coming out now. So Blueprints, its job is to say, this is what good looks like for your overall subscription environment. And if good looks like this, then when you provision a new subscription, you will get this policy structure. You'll get this RBAC structure. You'll get these policies. And I love this feature. I'm so glad they built it. If you are in a multi-cloud environment, what happens is you might have something external to Blueprints. So you might have, like, let's say that you're, let's switch here to the pen. Let's say that you, well, doesn't that work? Let's see. OK, well, whatever. This was a really cool thing when you could use the pen. So, all right, so assume Blueprints is here, right? So what you can do is you can use something like Ansible or Chef or Puppet, and that can exist outside of the Blueprints environment. And Blueprints can also be interacted with as code, right? So if you have a multi-cloud environment, you're going to use something like that to interact with Blueprints and deploy Blueprints as a corporate standard. And then if you're also then have an AWS environment, a technology like that, or Azure DevOps could do the same thing. Same thing. It could then deploy into a AWS or Google Cloud as well. So the idea of Blueprints is to be a best-in-class Azure management platform for deploying policy as you spin up new subscriptions. I was talking to someone yesterday who, when they spin up a new subscription, they have a guy who goes in and configures the RBAC and configures this and configures that. That is how you had to do it. Now, you don't have to do that anymore. You could use Blueprints to deploy that policy. So that's the starting point. And then all these other things follow. The templates that you use, the RBAC that you use, the policies that you use, all that inherits from the source Blueprint. So when you think operationalization, don't think of it as I provision something and there's a guy who goes and configures stuff. Think of it as I'm going to declaratively say what my operationalized environment looks like. Does that make sense? Yeah? Cool. All right, number 2. Define an operational platform in iterative steps. So a lot of organizations start off by saying, this is my gold standard. This is where I want to be. And it's going to take me 6 months to 7 months to 8 months to get there. The problem with that approach is it's going to take a long time. And in the meantime, your application teams are often running and doing all sorts of stuff in the cloud. And they may have made some good decisions. They may have made some bad decisions. But you haven't implemented any governance around that. Iterative steps says, put in place the things that are most important to your operations now at a 10%, 20%, 30%, and keep iterating on it and get it going. So this means that you have an iterative cloud program, and we call it an MVP. It could be a virtual private cloud. It could be whatever you want to call it. But its intention is that you build a backlog of the things that are important to you, and you start working against those things to keep making your environment more operationalized and more appropriate for your users. It's part of an overall cloud program. One of the recommendations I would have for you is be really careful about overreaching. Like it or not, IT, especially in large organizations, has gained a lot of negative perception of slowing application teams down. And if you overreach before you're ready to overreach, you end up creating more challenging experiences with your application teams rather than collaborating with them. Your goal should be enablement. Enablement in a controlled and appropriate way, not, hey guys, you're out there doing stuff outside of my environment. I'm going to take you under control. Doesn't really work out real well because the reason they're going out there doing it themselves is because we're too slow. So we need to become more rapid while having the same aspects of control. So I showed this yesterday as well, but I think it's a helpful kind of breakdown. This is a high-level view of what I would say a cloud program generally looks like. On the left-hand side here is what you might call a cloud assessment. This is an idea of what I would say like 2 years ago to 1 year ago. 1 year ago, you'd see companies saying, I'm going to investigate whether I want to get into the cloud business. I'm going to study my applications and see if this is the step I want to make. What I'm seeing this year is people are past that. They know they want to go in the cloud business. They don't need to study it to say, you know what, I'm not sure about this cloud thing. You know, I don't know if I'm going to go down that path. They know they need to. So operationalization is the first step in my mind. Operationalization is you catching up to some of these other work streams. You may have, PaaS work streams already going on, and your job now is to align to them. So this MVP work stream's job is, this is where we build out an operational work stream that supports everything else. One of the things you'll notice about this is down here at the bottom, we've also aligned a cost analysis work stream. Here's how this story goes. I start using Azure. My app team start using Azure. 6 months down the road, I start getting noticeable bills. Once I start getting noticeable bills, my CIO and my CFO start freaking out because they're getting costs that they don't understand. And they're like, I've already got this stuff depreciating on premise. I got these costs happening over here. What is going on? And then IT scrambles to get around managing costs, and they try to catch up to it, but they haven't labeled anything properly. So they get in there trying to analyze it, and they run into all these struggles. And then eventually they get to a position where they're trying to reduce costs, but they still have the bad reputation with the CFO, and all this stuff happens. So one of the big recommendations I would give to you is start your cost analysis workstream now. Make it one of the disciplines that you have as you start engaging in the cloud. It's like the muscle memory that you need to do things well. And even if you don't have a lot of spend, if you start the discipline of cost management immediately, you put yourself in a position to be able to understand the cloud spend, explain it, and you can work with the CFO to understand how I backcharge this to other parts of the organization, or at least organize it within the organization. So that's a very important work stream that people tend to ignore until you run into some problems. So when we think about operationalization, I'd say it's really this MVP side, it's cost analysis, and these other things then end up being aspects of that. DevOps ALM workstream ends up being an aspect of operationalization as well, in the extent to which best practices within the organization are important. You don't want everybody doing a different approach. You just want to try to standardize that. I've found that is very helpful at enabling speed, especially within app teams. Okay, number 3, build blueprint, management groups, and subscription structures. You can't operate an effective Azure environment unless you've structured it properly. If you haven't structured it properly, you're in a position of real weakness because you're trying to recover from that. So let me give you a couple examples of what not to do. Again, people who were here yesterday, I promise there's going to be some other things that you'll like. But this is something that I think you'll find will be helpful to understand what's good and what's bad. So this is what I would call a bad structure. This bad is probably a reach on this because I realize that there's some businesses that this does make sense for. And it's also something that I think became less ideal in the last couple months. I think this was more ideal recently, but has become less ideal as it's gone. The reason this is less ideal is because we've consolidated everything inside of one subscription. And the two gaps that are associated with that are you tend to run into subscription boundaries. And even if you started here, it's not a good assumption you're going to stay here, because you're going to start having additional subscriptions, and the combination of corp IT function with business unit functions, even though you segmented them based on resource groups, now that we have management groups, tends to not be as scalable of a solution. I would say this is like 50% bad versus what we would call this, which is what a lot of people have, which is subscription sprawl with no structure and no rhyme or reason. And especially if you started using Azure, when I started using Azure, it's what was our only option, right? There were no resource groups, and we just started provisioning subscriptions anytime we needed to do something that required security. So a lot of people are working their way out of this. So this is the current state of the most effective structure that I've seen. This uses a technology called management groups. Management groups are an operational structure that has GA'd, it's live, and allow you to create an organizational hierarchy that sits above your subscriptions. Really important. It allows you to be able to create that without having to rely as much on the subscription hierarchy itself. So you will automatically get a root management group, and then below that you can have 6 levels of management groups, and then you can have 10,000 management groups total. So that's a lot. You can do a lot of things with management groups with that quantity. And then if you need more than that, you've got to be a pretty sizable organization. You probably have multiple Azure organizations in the first place then. So the way that I broke this out is we have the Corp IT management group whose job is to isolate the critical infrastructure of corporate IT and provide it with a dedicated prod, dev, QA release cycle. So the idea behind this is that Corp IT functions no differently than an application team. Its stuff is code. It lives in a source code repository. And when it changes something in production, it's changing code that gets released into production. And you may be in varying degrees of that. I mean, I know that even us, like we see that there's varying degrees that we've been successful at that. But the extent to which your Corp IT can function like an app team and release its Corp IT functions as code into the overall infrastructure allows you to bring credibility that you're providing a stable environment to the rest of the world. Now, here's the way that this works if you don't do this. What happens is anytime Corp IT modifies something, they just go in and click on something in prod, and then what happens, right? The purpose of dev, QA, and prod is dev is where you're messing around and testing everything out. QA is a duplicate of production, and then production is what's actually running. And then you're peering between the subscriptions. Again, if you've started with one subscription and you've got everything kind of consolidated right now, it's not terrible. It's not even that far out of best practice, but you'll find that as you start to move to something a little bit broader like this, especially if you're a larger organization, you're going to find you'll gain some benefits, especially in respect to protecting the environment. On the right-hand side, you'll notice that we have application teams. So I work with some environments that have thousands of application teams, right? So we do a little consolidation there. Sometimes as groups of application teams. The goal is you're creating a structure into which they live. The reason I went into this is because at the root management group, you're putting blueprints, right? So blueprints exist here, it peers here, and as you provision subscriptions, those inherit the policies that they need. So rather than when you provision the policy, somebody clicks and configures it, it actually inherits the policy that then tells the subscription what it needs to have for it to be a successful subscription. Does that make sense? Cool. So if you don't have management groups built out right now, put that on your backlog pretty high on your list because it's actually really easy to implement. They're very flexible. You can actually move things around. One guy asked me about restructuring. Like, my company is always buying things or selling things off or restructuring groups. What happens then? You can move those around pretty readily. So it allows you to have some flexibility there too. So use this as a nice next step, especially for management group build out. You can alter this by eliminating some of the management group structure. I put this as sort of a second option. That said, the main thing I did here is I just removed a management group layer. The main reason for that is, maybe someone's like, look, man, I've got 500 users. Do I really need to build out this extra structure? This can be another step to provide some simplicity in the environment. So, okay, number 4. Define provisioning approaches, short-term and long-term. This is a real big pet peeve of mine. I like to make sure that it just drives me crazy, so I want to call this out. I think it'll be something that you'll, as you operationalize the Azure environment, will be important to you. I hate waiting in lines. My wife always tells me that I need to sacrifice more, so my kids built me this sacrifice bracelet, so anytime I sacrifice, I kind of pull a bead. I still hate waiting in lines, though, right? It's supposed to make me better, but we'll go from there. This is a really bad assumption. A bad assumption is making your Azure provisioning experience the same way you provision on-premise. The idea of everything I do in Azure must go through a custom portal that I've built that then handles all CRUD activities, creates, removes, modifications, and so on. I see so many companies try to recreate the Azure portal as a custom portal in name your tool. Some people build a custom platform, some people do it in ServiceNow or something else. I've seen companies come in and be like, especially these big outsourcing companies, I've seen this happen quite a bit where they come in with their, oh, I've got this custom tool, it's gonna make everything in Azure better by putting it in front of everything. This happens all the time, and it's a terrible way to implement Azure. Don't do it. If you do it, I'll see you in a year, and we can talk about why it was a terrible decision. Trust me on this, it's bad, I've seen it. The better strategy, and this is your goal, and then there's a stepping stone to get this, okay? So there's terrible, there's best practice, and then there is like a stepping stone that works pretty well to get there. The best practice would be the Azure portal is largely view only. Use a little bit of manual stuff in there you can do maybe in your dev subscriptions, your dev environments, dev resource groups. Sometimes you can't do it entirely as code, so there's a little bit of non-view only, but it's largely view only, and anything that gets deployed in Azure happens as a piece of source code. I actually worked with an organization, it's about 30,000 users, and they mandated this. They put it as, and what they did is they built a guidance to any application group that when they deploy, their code goes here, they get deployed here. Here's all the examples of the types of applications you might deploy, the ARM template standards, the way you deploy it. They have teams that engage with the application teams that teach them how to go about doing deployments, but they've mandated the idea that everything that gets deployed is source code, and it gets sent in through a release management pipeline. So when you think about how you operationalize that versus how you operationalize clicky or the building a custom portal, it's harder to get past that first step, but you've enabled these application teams to work the way they actually want to work. A stepping stone to get to that, which is something I see also very often, and it's very reasonable. So if you're doing this, I wouldn't say that like I'm saying this is awful. This is a very reasonable stepping stone. Your ultimate goal should still be to do releases through source code and your release management pipeline. You may even have a custom portal, but its job is to do some initial provisioning to get people who are used to going to a portal to do provisioning of resources a place to go. So if I'm a traditional application owner and I want to be able to go somewhere to click to provision, I'm going to give them the ability to do that, but that's it. No CRUD, no deletions, no modifications. It's to provision, give them access to the Azure portal, and then you're teaching them to go down the source code path or minimal modifications in the Azure portal. You're kind of stepping them into this. This is a very, very effective way to be able to get them going down the road and drawing a line in the sand and saying, my custom portal is going to be relatively simple. I'm not going to invest in it in any extensive way beyond kind of the initial steps. And then after that, everything else is going to be above the line. So this is a very effective way to start going down the road. And operationalizing this is also very reasonable, and it depends on the control plane being the place where these rules exist. The reason why people built out these custom portals in the first place is because they wanted to implement standards. Well, if you do it at the portal level, you've missed all the people who are deploying through release management pipelines, right? You missed all the people that are building who want to do automation. If you build it at the platform level as ARM and policy, then you're in a position to be very intentional with any of those groups. All right, number 5, define structures for naming and tagging. Follow excellent resource naming standards. Put yourself in a position to be successful by using a naming standard that makes sense. I have used this naming standard pretty frequently. It's become one that I think we've used in some pretty key accounts, and it's become a very useful standard that I've used in Fortune 50 companies now. So if it can work for them, it can kind of work for anybody. So I think you'll find that this is a good structure. So I'd take a picture of this one or jot it down. Object name, business unit, descriptor, prod, non-prod, QA can be part of that. Azure region, functions. I have an example down there at the bottom that I think you'd find very useful. So naming standards are a good step. I have seen some security people be like, well, you know, if you use naming standards, you're actually going to be able to figure out what things are, and you can like take advantage of the Azure environment. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, that's true, but then you have to have another way to deal with this. You still need naming standards. They'd just be a lot dumber. Oh, I didn't say that. All right. Okay, so tagging cost center. Here's your critical tags that you should have on anything in your Azure environment. Start with this. If you don't tag stuff, you're totally at a loss, man. Like you've provisioned, your stuff's out there, and you gotta go like catch up on tagging, which is a pain in the butt. You're out there trying to like engage application teams. You don't even know who the application guy is because you haven't documented the owner of the business unit, and you're like, whose is this? I mean, who provisioned this thing? And that guy doesn't work here anymore, and you're like, do I need it? And it's costing you like $3,000 a month. May not be a real story, actually is. So you're just in that position, right? You don't want that. So have that stuff in there. Classification's important. If you put classification for security, that's really important because then you can, sometimes your policies will be different between those. Sometimes security center use will be different between those, and you'll operationalize that differently. So like if it's a PCI compliant application, you're going to operationalize certain policies that are going to be different than if it was an internal application for the menu application, right? So that's another useful tag that you might want to capture. Okay, recovery and redeployment approaches for Corp IT. You want to picture that. So the goal of your environment should be able to be redeployed. It should be able to be positioned in a way where the entire environment could be redeployed from scratch. Your environment is code. Even if you configured it by clicking on things, it's still code. You can export it to source code and put it in a source code repository. Anything you've deployed through clicking, you can do that. So one of your biggest goals should be to assume redeployability at any level, to build in an automated redeployment pipeline where possible. So as you build something and as you deploy that thing, you can then say, oh shoot, Bob got into the system, modified it because he was testing something, and it's broken. Well, how do I get back to what was good? In most environments, you're like, shoot, I don't know what good was. What do I do now? It's code. Go back to the source code repository, deploy the latest version, back out to the Corp IT infrastructure, back out to the app infrastructure. You can use Azure DevOps for this. You can use Ansible, Chef, Puppet. There's a whole bunch. Terraform. I can't believe I left Terraform off there. That's actually one of my favorite tools. Terraform's a great platform to factor into automated build-outs, especially for multi-cloud environments. It can sit in front of Azure. The technology here doesn't really matter. There's so many ways to do automated build-outs of the Corp IT environment. The approach is the key. Think of everything as code. If you started with clicking on stuff to deploy it, that's okay. Just start to convert yourself a little bit more and more over to using infrastructure as code techniques, and you'll find that you'll grow stronger in the way that you operationalize the environment. So that's a good starting point. The next is to ensure that backup is part of your strategy. Operations would not be complete without backup, right? We delete something, we need to be able to get it back. So your policy that you build out in Blueprints that's deployed through Azure Policy should enforce that backup exists for everything in the environment. And although we are shifting the operational burden from Corp IT to application groups, understanding that Corp IT is becoming a cloud enabler, not a cloud operator. The cool thing about becoming a cloud enabler is you don't need to have as much of the pager on you. Right? Our job is not to care about whether every application in the environment is alive or not. Our job is to enable other people to do that. So the application teams take on more of that burden, which is a good thing because they built it in the first place. In a DevOps lifecycle, they're then involved in operations. I was listening to a talk by, actually here at Ignite, by Microsoft Chief Digital Officer. If you didn't listen to it, I would totally get the recording of this one. It was like a quote a minute, this guy. It was awesome. One of the things he said is that all the developers at Microsoft operate, which I thought made a ton of sense because as they start to be more responsible for the actual app itself and its success, they're going to be responsible for its operations. So you need to be making sure that they're following policies of being able to back it up and recover it just because they may not be used to that. So you need to help them out. All right, number 7, adapt security controls to a cloud-consistent world. Adapt security controls to a cloud-consistent world. Your security methods are going to be different now in the cloud than they were on-premise. I was working with a company last week or 2 weeks ago or something, and we were talking about how they were looking at a SIEM and some of this on-premise stuff. It's like, we're going to upgrade to Windows Server 2016. And I'm like, OK, that's all good. Like, none of that's bad. You should do those things. But you're starting to move into Azure now, and you're using Office 365. There's a lot more that you should be thinking about here than just like, am I upgrading my servers to the right OS? Like, this is a much bigger idea. And I can't just like protect the data center by having a lock on the door. I need to have much more consistent security controls. So a couple things about this. And this is like collapsing my whole security talk into like 2 slides. The first thing I would do, and if you do nothing today, if you do nothing when you get back, do the first thing. Enable multi-factor authentication in Azure AD for your Azure subscription, specifically for your administrators. Make sure multi-factor authentication is enabled, because here's the thing. If someone gets your account, all they have to do is log in, right? So someone halfway across the world gets your account, all they got to do is log in now. They don't have to be there. They just have to log in. Multi-factor authentication says, hey, I have to have a text on my phone to use this particular feature, and I have to get in. You'd be surprised how many people have not enabled that. It's a pretty rampant issue. So make sure that you enable that. After you get burned by that once, you're like, why didn't I do this? It's so easy. Enable that feature, please. The second thing is use Azure Privileged Access Management. Azure Privileged Access Management allows you, once you log into your Azure subscription and you want to act as the A account that is the owner of the Azure subscription environment and modify the management groups, you request access to the things that you need to have access to. You then get granted it, and then you do the thing. So it's just-in-time granting access even to the administrator of the environment. And it's a wonderful step, because A, it audits it. B, you might have to have someone approve it for certain use cases. And C, it prevents your account, even the A account, from being used for it mitigates it being used for maluse, because you have to go and request it in the first place, and you're auditing it. So it mitigates the, like, my password's out there, I don't have multi-factor authentication enabled, and now someone's going to go do some bad stuff very quickly. Conditional access is also really important. Conditional access assumes that not only am I using an account that I've proved who I am, so I know the password, I know the username, and I did a multi-factor auth, but conditional access also says I have to be using a device that's healthy that I control. Also a wonderful security step. Think of how much more secure your environment is with multi-factor authentication and conditional access on the device you're using to administrate Azure. It's like night and day, right? And you're like, oh, that's so obvious. Why don't I all have that? This is why you should have it, right? It's so important. Also, kind of moving down the line from that, you have application teams that should only be granted access to the resource groups that they work within. They are not subscription owners. They do not need to manage or do anything in the subscription. Their job is to be able to provision stuff in the subscription. You own the subscription. They manage and deliver stuff in the subscription. So your job is to give them that kind of criterial access. You can do that through an automation, and then bit by bit, you'll be able to do more of that through blueprints. So that's a really good starting point there. Also think about moving to a vertical network design. This is a really important step as well. Most corporate networks look like the thing on the left. Everything can talk to everything. And that doesn't do you a lot of good, because that means that lateral movement in your environment is really simple. Operationalizing an environment means you architect it properly. It's difficult for me to operate something that's not architected well. As you move to Azure, take advantage of the catalyst of the movement of the application to lock down the movement of data to and from that app. Move toward a vertical network design, or at minimum use application groups to be able to do this. So you see here, everything talks to everything, and they're grouped inside of application tiers. Here what we've done is we've actually grouped the resource group together inside of its own subnet. These application components talk to each other, but there's a network security group that governs what goes in and out. So this app doesn't need to talk to this app. It might need to talk to some other app. So if I were to bring this out and kind of blow it out to a bigger image, we've got app 1, app 2, app 3. These two apps might talk to each other, but this one doesn't need to talk to this one. Unfortunately, a lot of people I've seen move to Azure, they move and they just say, OK, migrate everything. And then it just looks like it looks on-premise. And you lose that whole opportunity. Remember, you don't get many opportunities to make change. Now's your opportunity. Make it better. So as you move, leverage the vertical network design to improve the way that you're structured within the environment and put yourself in a position to be more secure. Then lateral movement inside the organization is a lot more difficult. And that's how most organizations get taken advantage of anyway. A laptop gets taken advantage of that's on your partner. He moves to another system. He moves to a server. That server moves to another server. Then he moves to the domain controller, owns your Active Directory database, and boom, right? That's not what we want. By creating more isolation, it allows us to improve the protection of the environment. All right, operational environments should use Azure Security Center. Now, I'm not saying that needs to be where your main visualization is. A lot of people are doing dashboards with Azure Monitor, but it's a good place to get yourself going down the road. Make sure that you're using things like the non-VM security features as well, especially for app services environments. And then you can also plug in things like Qualys and Rapid7 into that environment as well. So like if you have an on-premise Qualys server that does scans, you can plug that same thing in and it'll do them in the cloud, which is really cool. It'll do same kinds of assessments that you do on-premise, and then it publishes that to Security Center. One thing I really like about what they did with Security Center is they just recently, just this week, built in Secure Score. And Secure Score is super cool. I mean, we've used it for O365 now for like 6 months. And it's a great opportunity for us to kind of say, all right, how healthy is this environment? Are you getting healthier? You're not as healthy? The whole Secure Store function is really great. So I'll take advantage of that. And then, of course, RBAC for applications, which we already covered. So you can go back and grab that. All right, number 8, monitoring responsibilities change as application owners take more responsibility. So Corp IT now is responsible for the overall cloud program, not for the individual apps. Security also monitors through things like Security Center and dashboards, but then application teams monitor their own stuff. So the environment tends to change then. Tools you can use for this are things like Azure Monitor or Security Center that are big parts of that. Move away from kind of porting your on-premise environment in, like SCOM and stuff. I mean, SCOM's fine for on-prem environments. Move towards something like Azure Monitor for the cloud-native environment, and start to ditch the need for the additional infrastructure of something like SCOM. So Azure Monitor contains almost all these other functions now. Used to have them all separate, log analytics and alerts and so on, all used to be separate things. Now it's all, it's all one environment. So Azure Monitor's they've done a nice job of consolidating that. Number 9, what do I do with my CMDB and how does it change? I don't have enough time to go into this to the level I'd love to, but the key point here is that you're going to see the CMDB continue to reduce its value to your organization, just straight up. It already had questionable value. It's now continuing to reduce its value because the control plane is queryable, and the configuration is code. So when the configuration is code and the platform is queryable, what the heck is the use of a CMDB? Almost nothing, right? It starts to become really not a huge value to an organization. So you're going to find that querying the platform ends up being the main way, the main tool by which you are able to gather organizational data from the environment. Azure Resource Graph is just another example of this. So check out Azure Resource Graph as a way to operationalize the environment and pull data out of the environment for your uses, especially as you're trying to understand what is deployed. CMDB is just another thing to sync to. You don't need that in this kind of environment. And that's, I think, a good example of Microsoft understanding where the technology direction was going. This is an example of Azure Resource Graph. You can get that from the slides later on. It's pulling data. I'm querying it. I'm exporting it to the shell. OK, last thing. Number 10. I'm a little bit over, but we're just going to finish this up. So number 10 is building a methodology for cost reviews and discipline around this. This is being able to judge the costs on the owner business unit, the application itself, the technology, and then what it is. All those things are useful. As you're analyzing things, as you're judging it based on applications, you need to be able to control and manage it based upon those cost categories. my recommendation to you is start using Azure Cost Management. If that doesn't fulfill your needs, export it to Power BI. If that doesn't fulfill your needs, then try something else. So there's a shot at what kind of Azure Cost Management looks like. Great breakdowns. It does a great job of doing charting going forward. It's all in the Azure portal now. It doesn't have to go out to Cloud in, so it's fantastic. So, all right. Thank you. Thanks for sticking me for an extra minute here. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate you coming to hang out. Have a great day. I'll be around as long as you guys have questions, so I'll hang out here.